Hello everyone and welcome to Making Gold on Guild Wars 2. Today I'd like to take a little bit of a side topic that I've been thinking about over the last couple days. Actually, it happened when a couple days ago a viewer posted one of my videos on Reddit. A shout out to Jan Dahlberg, by the way. I really appreciate the views. And if anybody wants to talk to me one-on-one about specific strategies on how to improve your gold making, do post a thread on your favorite forum with a link to my videos. Send a message to me over YouTube and with a link to it, and we'll talk. I specifically avoid individual items as much as possible in my videos unless I have to make a point, so that there aren't masses of people who go and do that strategy and ruin it. Then I'll have people who come back and say, but it didn't work, and you promised, and this is all a crock. Yeah, well, that's why I avoid it. But one-on-one, I will talk about specific items that I'm particularly investing in at the time and that I think are a good idea based on your particular strategies. Anyway, receiving all those views caused me to check out Guild Wars 2 subreddit once again. It probably wasn't a really good idea because every time I visit Reddit, there's some space-time vortex thing that comes or removes a couple hours from my life. I did contact NASA about it, but they haven't gotten back to me yet. Anyway, I came upon a particular thread which I kind of wanted to comment on. Here, I'll get to that so you guys can see. There it is. And the thread is titled, "The Rich Will Remain Rich, so how do we ever attain anything needed with gold? Also, can a crafter make a living?" Valid question. But before I read any more, a word of warning. I don't like people who know nothing and post about it on the internet. I do insult people. I do get a little bit upset. If you happen to be one of these people or happen to think like one of these people, respond with a coherent response and prove me wrong. Okay? If you don't respond, or if you just rage at me, well then, guess what? You've proven yourself to be an idiot. Anyway, so this is what the post says. It says, simple as this. I know there are people with hundreds of thousands of gold controlling the trading post market. False. With that kind of money, I would think they could buy out entire batches of items if they see the price dropping more than what they want. Even taking a loss on such a thing would ensure that they are able to maintain control over the market and in turn keep making a profit on all of the things that got them where they are. Wrong. First off, it's prices going up and down that makes us a profit. We want prices to go up and we want prices to go down. If they don't change, we can't make any money. Second off, what good would we have, or where's our profit motive in artificially propping up the price of an item that's falling? If the item price is falling, that means that people don't want it. That means we want to get out of it. That means we want to sell it. We want to artificially prop it up just because it got us where we were. Anyway, so how do we ever make enough gold to be able to buy expensive, overpriced things off the trading post? They're not overpriced if that's where the market sets them. If that's what the supply and the demand dictate the price to be, it's not overpriced. It may be expensive, but it's not overpriced. Sorry. Or do we boycott and stop buying altogether? But once again, go ahead. Boycott it. Who's going to lose? You are, not me. This is not a rant or me whining. I would like to have a general discussion on the ways to combat the trading post lords and kings of Tyria. I've always liked playing the market in all the MMOs I've played, and enjoyed taking small risks to turn a small profit, and I've always enjoyed crafting things and breaking them down and stuff like that. That's really good. If you like some tips on that, watch my first 2, 3, 4 videos. They have some very basic, easy to do tips which will make you almost guaranteed gold, but very little. Anyway, continuing. And while I enjoyed buying uncut gems when I saw them underpriced, then I would offer to cut any gem anyone wanted for either a gem or a tip or my current price. I enjoyed hanging out in cities that people seemed to enjoy getting a gem cut, especially if you had an uncut gem, without having to sell theirs and buy a cut one or something. Well, good for you. Karma. Not Reddit karma, but karma. You felt good. And that feeling good is your reward. That's the reward you got for hanging out in a city offering gems for a price. Meanwhile, I spent about 10,000 gold a day, and I cut hundreds of gems a day, and I made a whole ton more. Didn't feel good about providing such a wonderful community service as you did, but I got my recompense as well. Continuing on. This seems pretty impossible to do anything like this in Guild Wars 2. Is there anything even equitable to this? who are equatable to this. I like crafting and helping people out. Once again, there's your reward. By being able to craft things for them. I've always made it a goal to get all the rare sought-after patterns and schematics, but it seems like there's no need for anything like that in this game. Really, I'm just looking for suggestions or discussion, in case there's something I missed on how I could help people out and make a loaf of bread hanging out in Lion's Arch, crafting or something. Thanks for all the responses. First off, no, there isn't much like that in Guild Wars 2. Crafting doesn't help as much. Let's talk about the Jewel Crafter. The Jewel Crafter existed in World of Warcraft because of the gear treadmill. Because people were constantly getting new gear on all their characters, they had to upgrade it with a gem. Just like we use the upgrade slot in Guild Wars 2, you could put gems in gem slots in World of Warcraft. That happened because of the gear treadmill. Because every few months there'd be a new dungeon with new gear, and everybody would need a whole bunch more gems. That's when you made money. When a patch would drop, I would double or triple the number of gems I put on the market, and I would make a ton of gold. There was one time I made something like 100,000 gold over like a 48-hour period after the patch dropped, precisely because of that. It doesn't exist in Guild Wars 2 because the gear treadmill doesn't exist. It will always be a slow, steady gain of gold, but not so much in crafting. Let's talk about why crafting doesn't make gold. In the real world, to craft requires a lot of time, a lot of expertise, a lot of skill, everything. In game, it's just a couple of clicks. Okay, I know a guy who sells exotic woods. I love looking at his woods. It is so much fun. He sells things like cocobolo, zebra wood, leopard wood, ironwood, bocote. My absolute favorite wood he sells is Monterio, and I bought some of it, and it makes some beautiful, beautiful pieces. But he once sold some gold to a guy, or sorry, not gold. Sold some wood to a guy who made the I don't know what if it's called a throne or what, for the local archdiocese, the local Catholic archdiocese. And I saw a picture of what he made, and it was beautiful. It was incredible how amazing he was able to make this. Just it's a chair made out of wood, but it was very, very good. He didn't make that because he gained XP. He didn't gain XP the first time he picked up a 2x4 and hammered another 2x4 to it. He only started making a profit when his things became amazingly good. After that guy spent decades of his life investing in this one profession and learning his craft and became a true artisan. That's the way it works in real life. In game, you click a button, you get XP. You click a button, you get XP. What are you going to do? You're going to keep clicking that button. People don't level crafting to make money. They level crafting because it gives them XP. So why are we going to make a profit off it? You aren't. In real life, you make a profit because the supply is very little. There are very, very few people in the world that can make a throne for the archdiocese. There are very, very few people in the world that can craft something like that. In game, you go to Lion's Arch, it says, looking for level 400 artisan. You're going to find it. Artificer. Sorry. You're going to find it. You're going to find people just because they level up because they can. In real life, you don't. People don't do that. So the supply in game is really high versus in real life. And the demand, well, yeah, there's a lot more demand in game because it's more prevalent and you need it, but the supply is so much greater than the demand, then it's worthless. You have to be really at the top tier before you start making anything, and usually the ones you do make money off of are the rare recipes. So if you're looking to make money crafting, it's in the rare recipes. I'd like to look at one of the responses because this one response just wanted to make me scream, made me want to scream. This is the response. It says, playing the trading post is sadly the most efficient way to earn money in this game. So yes, the rich get richer as they acquire more money to invest. This is seriously one of the biggest flaws in Guild Wars 2, and I hope it is done away with in the future. There are 2 easy ways ArenaNet can help us combat these people. First off, the trading post is merely a location where people can trade items. That's it. Where people can trade items exists in real life. It exists everywhere. In game, it's in a specific form. Saying that it's the most efficient way, so what? That's not a bad thing. This is a good thing. The fact that I could trade what I don't want with you for gold that you're willing to part with. Or that you, when you really, really want something, you can come to me and say, hey, do you have this item that I want? And I'll say, yeah, sure, here. That's a good thing. It helps everybody making trades, helps everybody involved. We want that. So saying, yes, the rich get richer as they acquire more. Yeah, the rich get richer. Yes, because you know what? The rich in this game are the people who have provided value. If you don't provide value, you don't acquire gold. If you go out farming ore, you're going to make gold. If you go out and decide to farm in Queensdale, you're not going to make very much because you haven't provided as much value to the trading post. You are getting copper, which is not very valuable as opposed to orichalcum, which is very valuable. Okay, you see the difference? If you provide value, you get gold. I provide value in the trading post by buying items that people don't want and giving them to people who do want them. There's value created in there. So anyway, let's continue this post. This person's brilliant idea is, number 1, add a fee to buy orders. The most common trading post flipping tactic is to buy items with a large gap between buy and sell prices. That's done with buy orders. Many will post buy orders of mass quantities, collect what they can in a day or so, cancel the rest, and get their money back. Since all trading post fees are associated with selling, adding a fee to buy orders would put a damper on this strategy. You're absolutely right. You know what else would put a damper on? Everyone else. Except it wouldn't hurt me as much. Because right now I'll buy an item that I can flip that has a 30% margin. All I have to do is if there's a 5% fee, I'll do it with a 40% margin. That doesn't hurt me. It only hurts you who doesn't have any money. Okay? It's the member of the bourgeoisie, like myself, isn't hurt by taxes. It's only the proletariat. Always the proletariat that's hurt by taxes. Second brilliant idea.
Well, maybe this is good for you, but something crashed in my computer. I cannot get Fraps to record my desktop anymore. Can't get it to show you what I was going to show you on Reddit. So I'm choosing instead to show you stock footage of me using the trading post. I have just a little bit left of this rant too before I can get to my real point. Anyway, point number 2 is, according to this genius we've been reading, he says, allow sellers to choose a buyer. When you go to place a buy order on an item, you can see all of the orders and the quantity the buyer wants. Trading post flippers become blatantly obvious when there's a buyer list, ordering 250 of an item above many other sellers with single-digit quantities. If sellers could see the same list and choose who to sell to, the educated sellers could bypass the flippers and sell their gold to people who actually want their item, only sacrificing an extra copper or so. First off, you're assuming that people are so kind-hearted that they would pay extra money to screw over the trading post player. Okay, some people might be that stupid. And you know what? If you want to pay for your stupidity by paying an extra copper, that's perfectly fine by me. However, the vast majority of the time, people won't. They'll just pay to the cheapest person. Besides, every single time you bypass the evil lord of the trading post in order to sell to the common man, you're just proving my point. You're proving that I'm not the bad guy. You're proving that those who play the trading post, proving that all you people who watch these videos are the good guy, are the ones who help out the market. To that end, let's kind of take a look at all the strategies that we use. First, there's playing the margin. Well, does it help the market? Well, first off, when I place a buy order, I place it for more than what anybody else is willing to pay. What that means is when you go out and farm an item, and you come back to the trading post, and you post that item on the trading post, well, guess what? You're now getting more because I exist. Because I'm here, you're now getting more in reward for your effort. Therefore, am I helping you or hurting you? I'm helping you. Well, let's look on the opposite end. Let's say you've been saving up for a while. You want this brand new, shiny piece of gear, and you go to buy it. Well, if I'm there, I've undercut everybody else. I post it for cheaper, which means, once again, you're benefited. And because I'm there increasing demand and increase the value of that item, or I'm there increasing supply and reduce, therefore, the price of that item. No matter what, I'm just another force in the market. I'm just providing another item. Really, I'm not hurting the market at all. Let's talk about long-term investments. This is where I help the most, or where anybody who plays the trading post helps the most. Let's say right after Halloween or right after Christmas, all of a sudden these event items become worthless because, well, you can't do anything with them and everybody's just emptying out their bags. The price bottoms out. Nobody wants them. Therefore, the price goes down. The supply is really high. The demand is non-existent, so the price bottoms out. Well, sure, we can allow it to bottom out, but that's when we buy. That's when the trading post players buy them, which means we are increasing demand, right? So therefore, we are helping all of you out there, all the great wide world out there who's trying to get rid of the item. On the other end, let's talk about 6 months later when we say, I wonder if anybody wants these incredibly rare skins that I just happened to hold on to that you didn't. Well, we go post on the trading post. Now the demand is higher, and the supply is almost non-existent. If we hadn't existed, that supply would have been gone, because it would have gone to vendors or wherever else. So, on the one end, on the buying end, we're providing a better value for your items that you're getting rid of because we're increasing demand, therefore increasing the price. On the selling end, we're the ones selling it. If we didn't exist, the item wouldn't exist anymore. It'd be long gone into the vendor's inventory. So, where did we hurt the economy? We helped it. On both ends, we helped the economy. So, this concept that we're somehow ruining everything is ludicrous. My wealth does not make them poor. Your wealth does not make them poor. If I had 1 copper more than what I earned, yeah, then I'd be hurting somebody. Or if I had 1 copper less, well, then I would want my copper back. See, my gold is mine because I've made it. Because I provided that much value. Whatever gold you have, that's how much value you have created. It's yours. Enjoy it. Don't feel guilty about it. Unfortunately, there's one other thing that we do which isn't quite as good for the market. It's called market manipulation, right? I've been doing a series on it, and you guys probably are rather upset that I haven't given you the next couple of videos. I apologize, they're coming. But what does it do? Well, it artificially creates a whole ton of demand. It drives up the prices, causing people to pay more. It then allows the prices to crash, causing people to not get as much value out of their items. Yeah, that's pretty bad for the economy. But you know what? It is so much fun. I'll see you guys next time.